This is The Wheel Weaves, a Wheel of Time podcast with no spoilers. Welcome, listeners. I'm your host, Dani, and I'm the first-time reader who's going through this 15-book series chapter by chapter. As always, there are no spoilers past the chapter we are covering, and that means it's totally safe for first-time readers. I'm joined by my co-host, Brett, who's a longtime fan of the series, and he's acting as my tour guide on this journey. Before we get into things today, we just want to thank and recognize BooBoo1008, who's the newest member of our Patreon team. We also want to recognize Mary Brito, who increased their pledge over at patreon.com/thewheelweavespodcast. Thank you both so much. We really appreciate your support and your generosity. In this episode, we're going to be talking about chapters 44 and 45 in The Great Hunt.
Yeah, so 44 is 5 Will Ride Forth, and 45 is Blademaster.
Yeah.
And I think it's safe to say a whole lot of things happen in these chapters.
I am so relieved to say that I liked what happened in these chapters.
Nice, okay.
I've been waiting for the turnaround point because it's been too long of hating everything that's happening.
Yeah, this is like straight action, stuff's happening.
It's crazy. We get like 6 scene changes.
Yeah.
We have a lot to talk about.
Tons of stuff.
And I think I have a new favorite chapter.
Okay, all right, that's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's Blademaster?
It is Blademaster,
okay,
yeah.
So you can probably guess what this fun fact is going to be about, but because of what we saw in the Blademaster chapter with the Shanshan, we're going to talk about human sacrifice.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wasn't going to guess that.
Okay, yeah. That's the topic I chose for today.
Sure.
And I looked up a little bit about human sacrifice, and it is quite a lot of, disturbing information.
I bet.
Yeah, so it's not like the best, but I picked out some of the fun stuff.
The fun stuff.
Yeah, the fun part of human sacrifice.
Okay.
So it turns out tons of ancient cultures had different forms of human sacrifice, and they range from like religious reasons to cultural to war-based to like social justice. So lots of different reasons for human sacrifice. There's like the Incans and the Mayans and the Aztec and specifically the ancient Egyptians.
I think that you're meaning to say human self-sacrifice.
Not necessarily.
Oh, you're just talking about sacrificing humans.
Yes, for different reasons.
Okay.
Yeah, but I wanted to kind of zero in on the ancient Egyptians because we've already compared the Shanshan to ancient Egypt a little bit, so I thought I'd go down that
with
rabbit
the shaved
hole.
heads.
Yeah, exactly. So turns out for a lot of people, ancient Egypt, there was human sacrifice, and a lot of people remember that from like the pharaohs and how servants would be sacrificed when the pharaoh dies. And that's very similar to what we see in the Blademaster chapter when, their High Lord dies, they sacrifice them because from
They
birth to
sacrifice
death.
themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
That was self-sacrifice.
Yeah. So in ancient Egypt, this actually so it's called retainer sacrifices, where your retainers would sacrifice themselves when you die, but it only was around for about 200 years because it turns out it's really hard to convince people to keep sacrificing themselves for you when you die.
Right. Especially if they don't like you very much.
Yeah, so the whole thing is like pharaohs were like gods, essentially. Yeah. So they had to work like really hard at convincing people that they were gods. And there's 2 sides of it where you have to convince the servant that they should be sacrificed when the pharaoh dies, but you also have to convince the family that it's okay for them to sacrifice the servant too. So it's like you have to do a lot of talking to make sure that everyone's going to not, bust out into civil war when this happens. So it wasn't actually around for a long time. So it wasn't actually around for a very long time. And only the pharaohs and like the high court nobility typically could convince people to do this for them.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So very similar to what we see with Turak. And we'll talk about that later.
Yes, we will.
Yeah.
Okay. So chapter 44 is called 5 Will Ride Forth.
Yes.
And now I took note of this Flame of Tarvalin picture.
Okay.
For the chapter.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a very interesting symbol to have going into this chapter where we start off with a Perrin perspective.
Yeah.
Right? Because normally we see that when they're at the White Tower or it's very Aes Sedai based. And so towards the end, towards the end of the chapter, I could sort of piece some things together about why that might be there.
Yeah.
But it was still a little bit
Yeah, that's
weird.
fair. And I mean, you don't really know when you first start reading that you're going to get a bunch of perspective changes, but we get a bunch.
Yeah, but we don't get any to like an Aes Sedai or anything like that.
Not exactly. So do you want to talk about this whole Five Will Ride Forth chapter title first, or do you want to talk about it later?
Later.
Okay.
When we get to it.
Yeah, because this is like a very notable thing.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Okay. So last time we learned about how shitty life is for a Damane, and we like get clarification.
Yeah.
And stuff on that. And Nynaeve and Elaine have found Min, and they are all working on a plan for how to save Egwene.
Yeah.
That's what they're up to. Rand and that crew are in the Tommenhead countryside somewhere. They were arguing about going straight to Falme or wandering around to find Fane's trail first.
Yeah, and it turns out they're like zigzagging.
Yeah, they're finding Fane's trail first.
Yeah.
So, we start out in Perrin's perspective. Him, Matt, and Hurin are in a village in like these terrible clothes that they found in a village so that they don't stand out.
Yeah.
Ill-fitting and really old and moth-eaten
But it'll do.
It'll do.
Yeah.
So Hurin has picked up the scent of Fane in this village.
Yeah.
And it's important to note that this village is not empty.
It's not. A lot of the villages are, and we can probably assume that's not just from the Shanshan, but also the White Cloaks causing, a ruckus.
Oh, yes. So although there is that big burned spot in the village that we have seen in many other villages around here, there are still people here, but there's a bunch of villagers who are like saying goodbye to a bunch of other villagers who are leaving and taking off out of this place.
Yeah, you can assume that like living in the countryside, you've got almost zero protection now, so like things are not so good.
Yeah. So then we get that there is something coming towards them from the distance, and Matt, Hurin, and Perrin all run for their horses and get out of there as fast as possible, but not before Perrin notices that the people coming to the village are White Cloaks.
Yeah, of course, it has to be.
Yeah, whoa. So they gallop out of there watching over their shoulders, and Perrin thinks about his distaste for White Cloaks.
Yeah, because of the whole he killed some.
Yes.
And then he was like a prisoner and
then escaped.
And it's just not good altogether.
No, it's bad.
But one piece of good information we got was a little bit of a timeline, how it seems like it's been about 6 to 8 months that the Shanshan have like been here.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. And so reluctantly, Perrin reaches out for wolves, and we get that whole group of wolves who are surprised about a human who can talk to them.
Yeah, and it's also good, like, he's not completely backing away from the wolves.
No, he's using it to his advantage.
But he's still reluctant.
He's reluctant, but he's doing it.
He is, yeah.
And so, basically, all his other wolf encounters, it takes a while for them to be like, oh, cool, who are you?
Yeah.
And then he's got to explain himself, and he has to introduce himself as, like, Young Bull.
Cool nickname.
Because, they've heard that from other wolves.
It's kind of funny what the wolves call the horses. I don't think we've gotten that before.
Tall, hard-footed ones or something?
Yeah, hard-footed, tall ones.
Yeah.
So, and then there's 2 legs.
Yeah.
So.
2 legs are the humans.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the wolves eventually go check out what's going on for Perrin, and they say that there's no one moving westward except for you.
Yeah.
Basically. So then Perrin tells the others that they aren't being followed, and Matt's like, how do you know that? He's like, never mind how I know things.
Yeah, why would we talk about that?
Yeah. So we're just going to move past that. Their plan right now is to follow Fane's trail for a couple of miles so they can pick it up again without getting too close to this village.
Yeah.
And then they're going to head back to tell Ingtar and the rest because they aren't too far from Falme now.
Yeah.
Falma.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's pretty much exactly what happens, and that's it. There's not much more to discuss there.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
Scene change.
Yeah. Very quick.
Jeffrem Bornhold.
Of course it has to be.
Back to this guy.
Yeah.
So.
Do you remember where we last saw him?
Some village where he was disobeying the questioners.
Yeah, because the questioners had just, like, murdered a bunch of villagers.
Yeah.
And he's like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, and they're like, you have to go back to Almoth Plain.
Yeah, go do this.
Goes,
and
no.
I don't wanna.
No.
Yeah, so then he's, like, all mad at the questioners, and he doesn't want to do it. So
Yeah.
it turns out he's not actually doing what he's supposed to be doing.
No, he's not. So he is staring after where Perrin and them had just left, and he remembers Perrin as the one who claimed to be a blacksmith.
It's so funny, like, immediately, he's like, oh, man, who was that? That must have been that kid.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, my God, come on, Perrin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perrin's not, like, necessarily the most stealthy,
no,
turns out,
no.
so...
But you're like, really?
Yeah.
You really remember him?
He does.
Okay.
Yellow eyes, you don't forget that.
Yeah, he couldn't see his yellow eyes from...
Yeah.
He saw his curly hair.
Perrin is just that good looking.
Okay, sure. So, Bayer shows up to tell Bornhald that the village is secure, and he tells Bayer to lock all the prisoners in the inn with as much food as they can carry and make them think that someone is standing guard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not a bad plan.
Not a bad plan. Kind of like a dick move, but...
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's not
nice.
It's not a nice plan, but, like, in terms of what they're aiming to do...
Yeah, it makes sense.
It makes sense. Okay.
At least he's not, like, starving them.
That's
like, he's
true.
letting them take food and water, so...
Yeah.
He could be worse than just kill them all.
Yeah, because he also thinks that it'll be a couple days before one of them has enough courage to bust out of there and then find that there is no guard.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be long gone.
I really feel bad for these villagers because they've clearly just, like, they had their entire village council murdered by, like, the Shanshan, it turns out, and Fane was through here, so maybe he did some stuff, and then, you know, Ingtar and his crew are clearly here, and they're, like, all wary of them.
Yeah.
And the White Cloaks are... Like, it's just all bad.
It's all bad for all these people.
Yeah, it's just like, oh.
Yep.
Don't live in the country.
In Tom and Head.
In Tom and Head, yeah.
That's right. This is a bad place to be right now. So it turns out a couple days is all he needs because he doesn't want to alert the Shanshan to his presence.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to stay in one place for too long. They're making their way through, and he's going to basically ambush them.
Yeah.
Like, that's his plan.
I want to talk about that plan a little bit later, too.
Okay, because we also get that he has left enough men behind in Elmeth Plain to make the questioners believe that that's where he is. And he has brought almost 1,000 men to Tom and Head against their orders.
Yes, yeah, because he had that contingent, like, of men when he first came here.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to be just,
He's like, there's
raiding
no
villages.
dark friends that I care about in these dumb little villages.
Yeah.
I'm not raiding and killing people anymore. I want to go get the actual Shanshan dark friends.
Yeah.
That's what's important right now.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy because, like, his entire plan, he's, like, taking as many as he can, probably, like, leaving a handful in just pockets.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, the plan, it just kind of seems weird.
What do you mean by that?
Well, is his plan to just, like, attack Falma, like, with his 1,000 men, or sort of around 1,000 men against, like, the entire Shanshan army?
Probably.
Just, like, charge into the city and...
Yeah.
Like, stab the Shanshan? Like, it just doesn't seem like a very well thought out plan.
Okay, let me make my next point. Because I have to speak to that.
Okay.
So...
We don't get a full laid out plan by him.
So, we learn that they've had 3 encounters with the Shanshan already.
Yes.
And they were not expecting to fight... And one of the fights cost Bornhald 50 men.
Yes.
And now he knows about the Damane, and he can't really figure it out.
Except they're not Damani, they're just Aes Sedai witches.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
it's like the same thing that Nynaeve, I think, was thinking. Like, oh, Aes Sedai don't, use the power. What she was thinking when she first got captured.
Right.
It's like they're not Aes Sedai.
Right. Okay. So, well, some of them are.
Two
of them are.
Some of them are now, but like for the most part, the Damani are not Aes Sedai.
Right. Okay. So we also get that there were like 30 Shanshan and 2 women that cost him pretty dearly.
Yes.
So this is my point about how we already know that the White Cloaks are terrible soldiers.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So we know that. Like, Lan and them snuck in without, like, being noticed.
Yeah.
And
broke up prisoners. Like, they're not the best.
No, we get that they're terrible soldiers. They're terrible fighters. And they're so overconfident because everywhere they go in cities and towns and everywhere, they are basically either ignored or people move out of their way because they don't want anything to do with them.
Or they just, like, bully the weaker people.
They bully them. And so I think that this is really interesting because we got already that the Shanshan basically just use Aes Sedai in their battles and sort of also don't really have a very good army.
Yeah, like they're also way too confident.
Way too confident. So I'm finding a lot of similarities between the Shanchen and the White Cloaks.
Okay.
Because they have a very similar, like, chain of command.
Yeah.
Where if you're given a command, you obey it no matter what.
Yeah, so like that military hierarchy.
Exactly. They are very similar in their righteousness.
Okay.
They just assume that what they think is right and best.
Yeah.
And what everybody else thinks is wrong and bad.
Okay.
And they're the right ones and everyone else are the wrong ones. So they're entitled to whatever they want because they're the ones who are right.
I like that. Okay, good point.
And so, like, very, very similar. So the White Cloaks going in thinking we're better than everyone. And the Shanchen have come in now to Falma thinking we're better than everyone. Mm-hmm. And therefore, in their overconfidence, kind of took over these shitty little villages because the villages didn't know what to do.
And they're like, look how good we are.
And literally, the White Cloaks are coming in doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Going, we're better than you, we're taking over. And now they're sort of clashing into each other, but they're both sort of bad at what they're doing.
They're both losing. Yeah, so
they're both losing. Like with 30 Shanchen and, 50 White Cloaks died, but then how many Shanchen probably died?
Yeah, so it's probably these small patrols, kind of like what Suroth had, like the 50 soldiers or whatever it might be.
Right, yeah.
So, yeah, it's kind of like a weird situation. So that's why my question is, like, what is his actual plan?
So he doesn't have a plan because he thinks that no matter what, he can walk in somewhere and take it over.
So he's going to try and go and take over Falma with his 1,000 men.
Which, honestly, he might be able to do. From what we see,
do something, yeah.
From what we see next chapter.
Yeah, it's a little confusing.
It's not very difficult.
Okay.
Turns out.
Well, and it's kind of funny because with the Shanchen, they come in like full force, overwhelm you, and then let you do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And they really haven't been tested yet, from what it seems like.
No.
Like, they didn't really have a standing army in Falma.
Nope.
Like, none of the Terrabonners or air dominers or anything like that.
Nope.
The Domini, really are doing much to push back against the Shanchen yet. So, yeah, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And so, back to this, though, because Bornhald calls Byron to tell him that when he engages the enemy, Bayer will stand at a distance watching. He will carry word to Dane Bornhald.
Yep. Who's still over at the White Tower.
Right.
Harassing the women.
Of whatever happens. Then, Bayer is to go to Amador and report directly to the commander, Pedron Nile.
Yes.
And Bornhald will write something out for Bayer.
Because Bayer's too stupid to figure out what he's actually supposed to do.
Yes.
He's like, you don't get what I'm saying?
No.
I'll write it down for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So, he's kind of expecting to die.
He is.
But
and
he's expecting that in the process of him dying, the White Cloaks take over.
Or something. Or like put a huge dent. Because now he's kind of got that vengeance of the Aes Sedai are actually out here fighting. Like
Tarval and witches fight openly for the Shanchen.
Which he hasn't really seen before from what it sounds like, but now they're doing it. So he's like, oh, we got to destroy these witches.
Yeah.
But then he's also like, I'm probably going to die from the Shanchen. And if the Shanchen don't kill me, the questioners are for disobeying their orders.
Yeah.
So also kind of like a weird dynamic within the Children of the Light.
Yeah.
Where the questioners could potentially kill someone like Bornhald for not following their orders.
Yep.
Like, it's a weird dynamic.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like the Shanchen, where the High Lords could just, kill anyone.
Yeah.
Because they can.
They feel like it, so.
So, or the Seekers of Truth, right? That's what they are?
Yeah. Seekers for Truth.
In the Shanchen?
Yeah.
So it's like this, another similarity there.
Yeah.
But, okay, so now that I'm learning a lot more about the Shanchen, I'm liking them less.
Okay.
I have to say, there's less to like about them, and they're not as well organized as I believed them to be.
Okay. They are well organized, but this is the whole thing, because it seems like they haven't really been tested that hard.
Yeah.
Like, it really doesn't, so.
Yeah. So, Bornhald remembers Perrin's name.
Yes.
At this point, and says out loud, Perrin from the Two Rivers. And Bayer's like, what about that dark friend?
Yeah. Remember Bayer's last interaction with Perrin?
Yeah. He knocked him out. He was guarding him.
Yep.
And he stole his white cloak.
Well, remember what Bayer was going to do.
Oh, let him free.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah,
then,
yeah.
Totally maybe kill him.
But then totally maybe kill him.
Yeah.
But then sort of also maybe let him free because they didn't have time to go to Amador.
Yeah.
They needed to get to Camelin.
And then Bayer got manhandled by Lan, so...
Yeah.
So there's that.
Shoot. Okay. Bayer's a little paranoid.
Yep.
It seems like. But also, Bornhald is like, what if that dark friend is going to tell the Shanchen that we're here?
Oh, man.
He's like, oh my god. So, no one can eat here now. We have to leave now. Because we were going to have a meal and then go, but no.
Now we're going.
Now we don't have time. We have to go. So, far above their heads, a huge winged shape circles.
Okay, what is that?
Unnoticed. So it's either...
What is that big dark shape?
It's either a Shanchen creature, because...
Like one of those flying beasts?
Because we got in the last chapter that there were flying beasts.
We did.
Which was new.
And that was like all the description we got.
That's it.
Yeah.
So it's either that or Drakkar.
Okay.
And it's like there's now dark stuff, shadow stuff happening.
So two different things could be happening, because if it's the Shanchen flying creature...
Then it doesn't matter.
Well, it probably means that then now the Shanchen know that...
I don't know. I don't think that these creatures like report back to...
Fair, okay.
I don't think it's the same as a Drakkar.
That's what I'm... Okay, so that's fair. Because I was going to say, like, then, oh my god...
No, it's just sort of like a horse, like, going for a run. That's what, like, this... If it's Shanchen, it's like just going for a fly.
It's not like circling and watching them, you don't think?
No.
Okay.
No, not if it's Shanchen.
But this is so mysterious. The writing totally is so mysterious.
That's the point.
Okay, and then if it's a Drakkar, then...
Bad.
Okay.
Bad news. Yeah, and because it is so mysterious, there's really nothing else there for it, except tuck it in your brain that it happened.
Yeah, and then wait to see what happens, I guess.
In like 4 books.
Yeah.
So, no. So we get another scene change, and it is Rand.
Nice.
Rand's perspective.
Yeah.
So, Rand is practicing his sword forms, and we get that everybody is waiting for Perrin and Matt and Hurin to return, and they are late coming back, and everyone is getting anxious. And I have to say that I was getting anxious.
Really? Even though you just saw them?
We just saw them. We saw them riding out, but then we also saw White Cloaks recognize Perrin, who also were immediately riding out.
Oh, okay. I didn't even put that together.
Oh, I was nervous. I was so nervous that they were going to go catch up.
Yeah, okay.
And, like, find Perrin.
Gotcha. And then, Perrin's dead. So, shoot.
Well, I don't know.
So he's going to get his head chopped off,
well, yeah,
obviously.
It was just, like, a thing that I really didn't need.
Yeah.
It was, like, a situation where I was like, I don't need this right now. There's already so much going on.
Okay, fair enough.
So, I got nervous because expect the unexpected. But also expect the expected.
That's true. You got to do both.
Got to do both. Got to always be on your toes.
Got to keep a watch out.
I'm always on my toes here for everything. So,
yeah.
So we get that Ingtar is making fun of Rand's techniques, sort of.
Yeah.
Because Rand is doing his balancing exercise.
Yeah.
And
like on the ball of his foot.
Yeah, and Ingtar's like, you shouldn't do that. It leaves you open. And Rand's like, but it's not for battle. It's for practicing balance.
Yeah.
And Ingtar's like, whatever you practice, you instinctively use. And then Rand's like, shut up, man. And then he just says he wishes that his friends would come back.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because, like, just with this entire conversation, Ingtar's like, "Oh, I couldn't help but try and stab you if you were doing that in a battle."
And Ron's like, "I'm not going to do this in a battle.
Yeah,
that's not the point."
Hey, practice like you play, right? So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Except there are skills you need. Balance is a good skill to have.
Nope. Practice like you play.
Okay. So Uno yells, "Bloody horseman, coming this way!"
Yeah, with his one eye.
Yep. And Perrin, Matt, and Hurin come up, and I go, phew.
Phew, yeah.
Good, okay.
At least that was only like a page.
Yeah.
For you to, like, have your nerves settled.
Yeah. And so they tell the crew that they found the trail, and they followed it almost all the way till Falmey.
Yeah.
And Fane has to be there. And Matt says, yeah, with the dagger.
Yeah, we got to get that.
We got to get the dagger.
And in all fairness, Matt's going to die soon.
Like, really, really, really
He doesn't
soon.
look good. He looks really bad.
And, like, if we haven't got that Matt looks bad already...
They say it again.
He still looks bad. So, Perrin tells them that they also found white cloaks. Hundreds of them. And that's bad.
No time for that now.
No. Ingtar asks Varen if she's going to say, I told you so.
Yeah.
Fane is in Falme, after all. And she's like, whatever. The wheel weaves, plus Ta'Veren, you know.
Yeah.
And
Wheel weaves, bro.
And Varen is like using a stick to draw stuff in the dirt, and she scratches it out with her foot.
Yeah.
So Ingtar says that he will take Hurin and a few others into Falma, and Varen draws 2 lines touching in the dirt.
Yes.
She adds that Matt should go because
for the dagger.
He can sense the dagger, and draws another connected line, and then looks sideways at Rand, and he goes, I'll go too.
Because you're the Dragon Reborn, buddy.
Idiot. And she draws another line. And then she goes, who else will go?
Yes.
And then Perrin and Loyal basically say they'll both go at the same time.
Yeah.
But no Ogier can go because they will draw too much attention, because here in Tom and Head, they don't have Ogier.
Yeah, but more importantly, Perrin said it first.
Perrin said it first.
Yes.
So Perrin gets to go.
Yes.
So she draws a 5th line and then a circle around the lines to look like a wheel. So Rand sees this, and the hairs on his neck stir, and then Varen murmurs, 5 will ride forth.
Yes.
And I think, who's gonna die?
Okay. we got to talk about this for anyone who doesn't remember.
Yeah.
Because we've heard this 5 will ride forth once before.
Yes. But, so quickly, Varen shuts everyone else down who says, we'll go too. So
yes.
Uno tries to say he's gonna go. Then they all say, Varen, you should come. And she's like, no, only 5.
Which is totally fair. Like, Damani, Varen's not going.
Yeah, Damane, because she can't channel there. And then she, like, super subtle,
like really sneaky,
goes, one of them could feel a woman or a man channeling.
Yeah.
So don't do it.
Yeah, and Ingtar's like, why you gotta put that on us now?
Yeah, why have more problems? But
yeah.
That's interesting because he doesn't know about Rand.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Okay, we have like 18 different things we got to talk about.
I know that.
Because we just like jumped over.
I know. Well, I just
stuff.
kept going.
Yeah.
It was all exciting.
Okay, so first off, with the whole Ingtar thing, it doesn't necessarily sound like the Portal Stone worlds have the same effect. Yeah, revealed that Rand can channel.
No.
Matt totally kind of like let the cat out of the bag and said it.
He said, you're an Aes Sedai.
Yeah, basically,
then,
while looking at Rand and said it. And then we had the whole Massima was like looking at Rand and like wouldn't look at Rand at all.
Yeah.
Because that was kind of like a weird instance. But with Ingtar, it just doesn't, I'm not 100% sure. So.
No, I'm saying no.
Okay, so
I heard him, he snorted, a man?
Yeah.
Pfft, why are you talking about that, Varen? Like, not even like, ooh, don't say that, Varen,
Yeah.
Or ignoring it, or whatever. And so I just thought, he doesn't know about Rand.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
So we got to talk about this whole 5 will ride forth.
Yes.
So back in chapter 22, Watchers, page 328 for anyone who's got the
Yeah,
paperback.
I went back and looked at it.
Yeah. So when Moraine is having that conversation with Adelius and Vandene, Moraine asks, does anything link the dragon...
Those are the old Aes Sedai sisters.
Yes, exactly, who like study everything.
Yeah.
So Moraine asks, does anything link the dragon and Tom and Head? And then they say yes and no. There's a verse in the original that translates literally as 5 ride forth and 4 return. Above the watchers shall he proclaim himself, bannered across the sky in fire. And then the point of contention is whether it's watchers or watchers over the waves.
Right.
So, 5 ride forth, 4 return.
Yeah.
Varen knows about this prophecy.
Very well.
Very well. And she's like, she connected the dots and knows this.
Which makes sense because she's Brown Aja, and so was...
Yeah.
Like, the sister who's, like, studying all this stuff.
Yeah.
So...
Like, one of them is,
one
and,
of
like,
them.
they both, like, talk so
Basically,
much.
like,
so, like, this
brown.
is clearly, like, a known thing. So, 5 ride forth and 4 return. You said, sounds like someone's gonna die.
Yeah.
Name that character.
Okay, so, when you asked me about this, when we recorded that chapter...
Yeah.
I was like, well, we have our Matt, Perrin, and Rand, and then we also have Egwene and Nynaeve. That's what I was like, well, we have those 5 main characters.
Yeah.
And you're like, who's dying? And I was like, I don't know. So, because it didn't really make sense that they were all going to go together.
Yeah.
And like when that was going to happen in the series. Like, I really, really had zero prediction there.
Yeah.
So, with these 5 riding forward, I've already predicted Hurin's death. I already thought he was dead once, remember?
You did, that's fair.
And it made sense to me that he died at some point.
Yeah.
So maybe Hurin.
Okay.
But it also makes sense to me that Ingtar dies.
Okay.
Because his whole thing is he needs to find the horn. And so now that they have essentially found the horn, maybe he's...
like, okay with dying?
Okay with dying.
And is going to die? So
sacrifice himself at some point or something like that. I could see that happening.
So why not Hurin now, though? Because you were on the, Hurin should die bus, and now you're like off of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe Hurin will die. Maybe Hurin will also sacrifice
himself. I need a definitive, but you got to call it.
Yeah. My definitive is I don't think, number 1, it's going to be Rand, Perrin, or Matt.
Okay.
It's not going to be them.
Fair.
It's going to be Ingtar or Hurin.
Okay.
Or none of them, and the prophecy is misleading and means something completely different.
So, one of them is staying for an extended vacation in Falma.
Yeah, he's just not coming back.
He's coming back, found a beach house.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Although, if they all leave, because we can talk about this at the end of next chapter.
Sure.
If they all leave, but Rand stays behind to, quote, save Egwene, then it's not him dying.
But he's only
staying,
4 returning.
And only 4 are returning.
Okay. I like that, too.
Oh my god, I just predicted 8 things.
Yeah, you did. Okay.
Any of those, if they happen, I get a win.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
If I just talk about literally anything that might possibly...
all the things that could happen, so...
And then Dumbledore shows up.
Wow.
Casts some spells.
Zip-zap. And...
Oh, that's a Harry Potter reference.
That is.
Do you want to take a shot? We haven't done one in a long time.
Yeah, and we've been asked about this, but, like, obviously, you're pregnant.
Yeah.
And it's not fun for me to just, like, take a bunch of shots alone.
Yeah.
So we've been cutting back on the Harry Potter references.
Uh-huh.
But we'll get back into it in the future.
You don't want one right now?
I'll go for one now.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Sure. Why not?
Okay, real quick, here is your shot. And it's a new shot glass.
It is.
Because my parents went to Mexico.
Yes.
Literally right before shit hit the fan with traveling internationally.
Yeah, like immediately when Trudeau was like, everyone needs to come home.
Yeah, they had like just come home.
Yeah.
So, Playa del Carmen.
Yeah.
For you.
This is a very fancy one.
Yeah, a little.
It's one of those big ones too.
Yeah, go for it. Cheers.
Cheers.
As I take a sip of my water to remain hydrated.
Yes.
Okay, so with those, 9 predictions.
Yeah, there's a few.
I should probably settle on one, but I'm not going to.
Okay.
Because I like all of them.
So, one of those things.
One of those things.
Okay.
And that's basically the end of this chapter, because Hurin says if we leave right now and ride through the night, we will reach Falma by morning.
Yeah, so we're really getting a timeline coming in. So
that's what we're doing.
So.
Okay. So, chapter 45, Blademaster.
Blademaster.
Whoa.
So, remember way back when we had that first Wolf Brother chapter with Elias and Perrin, and I was like, which one's the Wolf Brother?
Yeah.
This is Blademaster.
Yeah.
We've got Turek and Rand.
Yeah.
And which one's the Blademaster?
Right.
Yeah.
It's Turek.
Okay.
Because he's the only one who's legit earned the Blademaster title.
Okay. I like that.
Well, it's just the truth.
Yeah, so let's go forward with that.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Rand's not a Blademaster.
Yeah. Well, we can
He doesn't have the title of it.
If you want to go into this afterwards, we can.
I don't think we'll have time.
Okay.
So that's why I'm just saying it now.
Spoiler alert, Rand kills him.
Yeah, no, I know. Obviously, he's the better swordsman.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have the title Blademaster.
That's fair. Okay. He needs the plaque on his door.
He's never earned the title and the heron-marked sword.
Gotcha. Okay.
If he tried and went, and I don't know the whole,
you don't know
testing
how. Yeah,
system,
that's right. That's true.
But there's got to be something where they say, you've earned this.
Here you go, buddy.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
And Rand has never had that.
Which is funny. So we don't actually know how, Tam was awarded.
Well, Tam earned it.
But we don't know, how.
Yeah.
Did you, kill a bunch of people?
Maybe.
How does that work?
Maybe it's a tournament.
A tournament of champions.
Mm-hmm.
Bunch of people face off.
Yep.
And then best man.
One emerges Blademaster.
Yeah, there you go. Or
That's
woman.
it.
Best man or woman wins.
Nope. Not in this universe.
No women
Nope.
can be sword fighters?
Not in this universe.
Let me introduce you to the Shanshan and the Aiel, why don't you?
Oh, the Aiel maybe.
And the
But
Shanshan?
they don't care. do they?
The Shanshan have a bunch of women soldiers. The first one who we met was a woman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, women can be Blademasters too.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Sure they can.
All right.
Sure, Robert Jordan. No women glee man.
No, well, there was gonna be. Too soon?
It is too soon. Okay, so we jump into Nynaeve's perspective. It's really early in the morning with the sun just coming up and the town is nearly empty.
Yep.
Min is sitting across the way from her eating a plum, and Elaine is sitting down by some alley with a sack folded beside her. Clearly, they're setting up for their plan.
And we hope, because we really didn't get a very good plan last time.
No, we didn't. And you know what's funny? I thought to myself, they talk about this sack that's sitting beside Elaine, and I even thought to myself, what are they going to do with that? Throw it over Egwene's head and carry her away? What's the plan with the sack? This is stupid.
Turns out.
That's what they do.
It's happening. Yeah. They have a plan.
Yeah. So Nynaeve spots a Suldam and Damane walking up the street, and they have some pitcher and batter.
Yeah, and the manager
codes.
On the bench, the coach doing something.
Yeah, doing scratching his nose and then touch the inside of your thigh twice. Because
it's pretty great.
It's for when the coast is clear.
Yeah.
And it is. So Nynaeve thinks that she hopes that these girls don't give anything away because they're clearly anxious and nervous, but she also knows that she is going to be taking the fall if anything goes sideways so that Elaine and Min can escape.
Yeah, so she totally seems ready and willing to sacrifice herself.
Yeah.
And basically probably burn everything to the ground and die doing it.
Yeah.
Because she does not want to be a prisoner.
Oh yeah, no.
Can you imagine Nynaeve in Egwene's spot right now?
Yes.
Nynaeve is crazy, stubborn, hard-headed.
Yeah, but it would be bad. I can imagine it.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be great.
It'd be terrible.
But I can imagine it. Yep. So Nynaeve thinks about how angry she is with this whole Suldam enforcing their will thing. And she channels the power with all her anger. But she only lets a trickle of the power through and she cracks it like a whip. And the Suldam gives a start because she can obviously see the glow around Nynaeve.
Yeah, crazy strong channeler, just pop out.
Yeah, and then Nynaeve acts before she can react.
Yes.
So the collar on the Damane snaps open and falls to the street.
Oh, damn!
She can do it!
She did it!
Yes.
Yeah, we got two things to talk about. One, she did it, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And she was not sure if it would work.
And it's magical.
And then two, how about Nynaeve's method to work herself up internally to get pissed off enough that she can embrace Saidar and channel?
Yeah, she did it.
Great system. All right.
Yeah. So the Damane sort of sees what happens and turns and punches the Suldam in the face.
Probably as hard as she can.
And then runs away
as
fast as she can.
Yeah.
And Elaine yells, "Good for you!" But
we're here to help.
But calls to the woman, "We won't hurt you. We're friends." But Nynaeve is "Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
We have a plan here."
And this Damane is she doesn't know what's going on.
And doesn't give a fuck.
Gone. Yeah. Hopefully. You kind of cross your fingers and hope she escapes.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, I don't really know how she's gonna do that, but I hope.
Burn the city to the ground.
Yeah. So Nynaeve shoves some rags in the Suldam's mouth, and Min takes the sack and shoves it over her head.
What are they going to do? Put her in a sack?
Yeah, and I went, oh, okay. So a bunch of the passerbys in the street just sort of empty the street.
Well, this is funny too.
And avoid everything that's happening.
And it makes total sense because we've seen it before. You do not stick your nose in other people's business.
Yeah.
With the Suldam, you do not, you wouldn't even think about it because they're just going to murder you.
Yeah.
Unless they do something way worse than murder you.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. Everyone's just peacing out.
Cannot get involved here. So they just walk the other way. The Suldam starts to muffled scream and fights to get away. But then they herd her into an alleyway, and Elaine picks up the dragging collar, and they wrestle the woman into this abandoned horse shed stable. And Nynaeve channels again and snaps the bracelet off of the Suldam.
Yes.
So, in terms of the whole, is it a puzzle or is it magical?
Yeah.
It's magical.
It does seem that way.
It's magical.
Okay.
There might be a puzzle within the magic, you gotta do it a certain way, you have to think of the certain spot or whatever.
Yeah.
But Nynaeve seems to have figured it out.
Yeah, And it seems like you got to channel a little bit into the collar.
And that's what I thought, because Egwene seemed pretty confident that she could figure it out if she could channel.
Yeah.
To probe with the power.
Yeah.
And so obviously Nynaeve has done this.
Yeah.
Okay. So when they take the sack off her head, she tries to make a break for it, but the three of them outpower her and strip her out of her dress and bound her hand and foot.
Yeah, and this is kind of where we can figure out the plan, and it's not a bad plan.
No.
Like, dress up as a Suldam and Damani, and then sneak in with Min, or whatever.
And because Nynaeve now knows confidently exactly how to get those bracelets and collars off.
Popping those off left and right.
Yeah.
Bang, bang, bang.
Cool. Everyone they see.
But this is the thing.
Yeah.
We've already kind of been introduced to why Damani wouldn't fight back.
Yeah.
And we were kind of lucky here. This Damani, like, punched the Suldam and ran away versus was still on the Suldam side and tries to fight.
And tries to, like, put the collar back on or something.
Yeah, or just, like, fight to save the Suldam, because if they end up losing, then she'll be punished and get her hands chopped off.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It'd be terrible. So it's like you might run into Damani who are still not on your side.
Yeah. Or who have been Damani for so long that they're so mentally conditioned.
Yeah.
That this is their life now.
Like, they're not going to be fighting or trying to escape.
Syndrome, the prisoner syndrome, where they fall in love with their captor.
Oh.
Like that one.
Okay.
Stockholm syndrome.
Isn't that where, like...
It's when hostages and abuse victims bond with their captors or abusers.
Okay.
Yep. It's a psychological condition.
Okay.
That develops.
That sounds
over
bad.
time.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound good. And that might happen in this case. But
probably does.
With this one, they might have got a relatively new or young
Damani. Where she's still like...
Where she's like...
chance at freedom, I'm going.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So, Nynaeve gets into the Suldam's dress because she's the only one who will fit it. And now we're definitely getting a sense for their plan. Min can't wear the dress because they know her too well at that house.
Yeah.
And we also get that they have dyed one of Nynaeve's dresses and one of Elaine's dresses gray to look like the Damanes, sort of. And now Elaine can get into hers because Nynaeve is the one who fits the Suldam dress.
Yeah. So they're just kind of like, for whatever happens.
Right. So Nynaeve puts on the bracelet, and Elaine is hesitant to put on the collar. She just wishes that she knew what it was going to do to her.
Which, like, makes sense.
So Nynaeve says there's only one way to find out, and she puts the collar around the Suldam's neck.
Yeah, so this entire sequence is very weird and interesting.
Yeah.
And we got to talk about this.
I like it.
Yeah.
So Min says it doesn't work that way. But then Nynaeve is super aware of everything that the Suldam is thinking and feeling.
Yes.
Like, not feeling it herself, but just aware of it.
Yeah, and it's an interesting description how it's like a lump of sensations in her brain that she knows is the Damani.
Yeah.
Well, or the Suldam, who is now the Damani.
Right.
Yeah.
So Nynaeve tells the woman that they aren't Seanchan, but they just want answers from her, and they won't hurt her unless they have to. And the woman sort of starts laughing at Nynaeve behind her gag.
Yeah.
Because she clearly thinks, well, this is never going to work on me.
This is not how it works.
This isn't how it works.
And that in itself is really crazy because the Suldam thinks herself that this isn't going to work.
She's laughing at Nynaeve.
Like, without a doubt.
The problem is, when you piss off Nynaeve, she's strong enough to do things you don't think are possible.
Well...
I have a lot of theories.
Yeah.
Do you want? There's a lot of them.
Okay.
So, Nynaeve gets pissed. She tries to add to the awareness that she senses for the woman.
Yep.
And it works.
Yes.
And the woman is clearly in like a bunch of pain and her eyes bulge as if she's very shocked.
Okay.
And so...
This is like the form of torture.
Yeah.
Basically.
Exactly. This is literally what's been happening to Egwene this entire time. And so Nynaeve quickly stops, but the woman sort of sags and starts weeping. So she's not like laughing and sneering anymore.
Yeah. Well,
and
because what is not supposed to happen is now happening.
So Min stares, like mouth hanging open, and Elaine is like, what did you just do? And Nynaeve says she did what Sheriam did to you when you threw the cup at Marith.
Yeah.
And then she thinks that this is a filthy thing.
Yeah, well, you literally have complete control over someone else.
Yeah, and with your mind...
Can torture them.
You can torture them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. Okay, go into theories.
Okay. Because Min says, it isn't supposed to work this way. They claimed that it won't work on any woman who can't channel.
Yeah.
So my first theory...
Okay.
Maybe this woman can channel.
Okay. So this one, yeah.
The one that it's on, maybe she doesn't know she can.
It doesn't seem, because she genuinely doesn't seem like this should work.
Yeah.
Like she really doesn't think this should work on her. Yeah. So, okay.
So maybe she can channel and just doesn't know. Number 2, maybe Nynaeve is just that strong.
And she's like manipulating it somehow and just like making it happen?
Yeah. Okay. Because she figured out sort of how to do it, maybe differently. I don't know. Okay. Because she's Nynaeve and can do things, whatever.
We do know that she's basically like the most powerful Aes Sedai that...
She's like literally a ball of the one power.
Yeah.
Floating around in anger.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then I also thought that maybe the ones who like claimed that it doesn't work that way were just like lying like liars.
Okay. So they're just like, just lying.
Just straight lying.
Up. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess that's possible.
But that Suldam obviously was one of the ones who was like lied to about this.
Okay. Because you have to think like at no point why would she ever be in a situation where she put the collar on?
There might be a situation where a Suldam doesn't really like being a Suldam. Like that's possible.
Okay.
Where she doesn't like torturing this person.
Yeah.
And wants to maybe work with her Damani secretly to like overthrow something or do something.
Sure.
And so maybe when you're becoming a Suldam, you're taught that it'll never work on someone who can't channel.
Just so like that doesn't ever happen.
Just so that you don't even try.
Okay.
Maybe. Yeah, that's what I mean by lying.
I mean, we're going to go with like the 8 different theories again. I'm okay with that. Yeah. I like that.
So any of those.
Any of those things.
I like the one best that Nynaeve is just that strong.
Nynaeve's just that great. I like it. I like that one too.
Also lying like liars.
So whether or not, like, does it matter which situation or which version of your events is correct? It doesn't matter
because it's working for Nynaeve.
But it also doesn't matter because to this Suldam, who is now a Damani, she's freaking out and she's like, I can't be seen like this. Because if you think about it this way...
It's going to look like I can channel, and now I'm going to be a Damani.
And I'm going to be the one who's enslaved, not the slaver.
Yeah.
The slaver becomes the slavee. So, like, makes sense that she's freaking out and, like, please don't take me anywhere. Like, just let me go. I'll give you money. I'll give you whatever you want. Does the whole pleading thing, but it doesn't work.
Yeah, that's true. Because at this point, when Nynaeve is like, I don't care how it's supposed to work... This is the way it's working. So she does that thing where she like musters all her confidence and does her like super bluffing.
Yeah.
Just like in the most confident way possible.
It's so like what she did with
exactly,
Bael Daman.
Literally the same thing. And so she tells this Suldam / Damane that she wants answers and will seriously hurt her if she doesn't give truthful answers. And this woman is terrified, and Nynaeve realizes that the woman believes her. And knows now that she could if she wants to.
Yeah, which is like because they do it to Damani.
Yeah.
They do that, so why wouldn't Nynaeve do it to her?
Right. And then that's when Nynaeve removes the gag and this woman immediately starts saying, like, I won't report you. I can't be seen like this. And then tells them that her name is Seta.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's at least what she says. I don't know if that's her real name. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's her name here. And Nynaeve says, like, be quiet, but she, like, keeps going. I can't be seen like this. And then Nynaeve realizes that she doesn't have to make Elaine wear it after all.
Because Seta is the new Damani.
That's right.
To Nynaeve.
Yeah.
Messed up situation.
Yeah, and Nynaeve says that she thinks Seta is worse than a murderer, worse than a dark friend, and even the idea of wearing the bracelet for an hour sickens her.
Yeah.
And she says, if you don't want to be seen, good. Neither do we. But no one really looks at Damani anyway, so just keep your head down and no one will notice you. But you better make sure no one notices us either, and then Nynaeve threatens her with pain again.
Yeah, and it's like you really don't even need to threaten her. Seta just doesn't want to be seen, so she doesn't have to become a Damani. She knows her life
will
she's going to be, she's done. Like game over.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so... They put the gray dress on the lady, even though it doesn't fit very well, but it'll do.
Yep.
And Nynaeve hopes that people really don't look at Damani.
Because she doesn't actually
That's
know.
like that bluffing thing that
Yeah.
she's just like hoping if she says it confidently enough, it'll be true.
Yeah, and we don't really see anything more of them for this chapter, so I just want to get your prediction before we head into like the end of this book.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that this plan, the way she wants it to go, is going to work out?
No.
No? Okay.
She's gonna like blow up the whole place or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would like it if it just goes through.
If they can
but
like
I
be sneaky.
also want the other Aes Sedai to be free.
Oh yeah, because it doesn't.
You know
seem,
what?
Yeah.
They might have to rescue Egwene, get out of here, and then come up with another plan somehow.
Okay. Or just like have Nynaeve running through the halls, like flicking off all the
Bang,
colors.
bang,
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 bang, bang, bang, bang.
Yeah. And then
you're free, and you're free,
and then
you're
that
free.
thing where she like uses the air to push and hold people against the walls.
Yeah, yeah.
All to everyone who's
See, now
not
you're
a
getting
Damani.
now you're getting creative.
Yeah,
there you go.
use it, girl. Get
Okay.
it. Okay. Yeah, so it is the end of this sort of scene because they're like, all right, ready to go? And Elaine's like, oh, I wish Gawain were here to see me doing all this adventurous stuff.
Yeah.
And then everyone ignores her. Seta asks, where are we going? And then quickly adds, if I may ask.
Ah, manners.
She's already
Oh yeah.
Damani. Like,
Yeah,
she's
she is.
She already knows.
She caves so fast.
Yeah. And Elaine says, into the lion's den. And Min says, to dance with the dark one. And Nynaeve just like rolls her eyes and is like, we're going where the Damani are kept. We're going to free one of them.
Yeah.
And Seta's like, oh shit. And
Scene.
they leave.
Yeah, great. I love that. So, good plan. Like, overall, their planning is not too bad.
It's worked out.
Kind of worked.
Their plan has worked out, I think, by accident.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that could have gone horribly wrong.
In this situation.
Yeah, like
and it
a
didn't.
lot.
So now, like part 2, hopefully because they have some semblance of what's going on, they're going for it.
Yeah, yeah. Like, they were really counting on that Damani, like, either helping them or running away.
I think they were also really counting on Nynaeve actually knowing how to open the collar and the bracelet.
Because then they're going to get into, like, this big fight of, like, channeling, and then, boom, all the Damani are, like, there.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're in front of, like, it's just...
Okay.
Eesh.
Okay, so we get a scene change, a quick one.
Yep.
To Captain Bail Dahlman.
Favorite pirate captain?
And he's on his ship with the sun rising.
Yep.
So his crew guy, Yaren,
Yep.
says, are you sure about this? What if the soldiers come and wonder what we're doing aboard? And Dahlman says, don't you worry about that. Just make sure there's an axe by every line and do not cut one until those women are on board. If the soldiers come, we will make for the harbor mouth as fast as we can and light help us all. But he intends to wait for those women, and he drums on the railing nervously while staring up the road into town.
Good. So we know that Bail Dahlman is still hanging out, waiting, like he hasn't taken off.
He wants to leave, and he knows in order to do it, he needs the Aes Sedai on his side.
So he's waiting for Nynaeve and Egwene and Min.
And I never
and
thought
Elaine.
Bail Dahlman would be the type of guy who like wants to team up with Aes Sedai.
Well, he took the Tarvalin marks. Like, he's not...
That's true.
Yeah, and when Rand and Matt first, like, they had Tarvalin marks.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he gave him change back. So he's like an honest pirate captain.
Okay.
He's a traitor. He's not a pirate. I know that, but still.
Okay.
But hold on, timeline.
Yeah.
Because we haven't talked about it, but it's pretty clear that these events are all happening
At once.
simultaneously.
Yes, exactly.
Yep. And then we also have the White Cloaks coming in, probably around the morning time, if they are charging
If they read
on Falma.
straight to Falma.
Like, that we're kind of assuming that might be his plan, because we haven't really gotten a plan from Bornhold.
Yeah, it does seem like that village was the last one on the way to Falma.
Yeah.
Because in this village, this is where he chose to tell Bayer about his plan that Bayer's not involved in the attack.
Yeah, and Nat
he would
Perrin did the thing there. So.
Yeah, and he wouldn't have told Bayer that until like the last possible moment.
Yeah.
I think.
So then we have Bail Dahlman in the morning time, Nynaeve in the morning time here, and we've got Rand. They all left last night.
Well, and here we go.
And now it's morning time.
Here we go. It's Rand riding into Falma, and it's first thing in the morning. We even get the same descriptions of what it looks and smells like.
Yep. So you know.
So you know. Like, there's no questioning when this is happening. And I love it. Oh my god, I
no
love
more
this
moon
so
cycles.
No more.
Yeah.
We're just going with breakfast cook fires.
Yep.
That's what we're
and
doing.
the rising sun.
And the rising sun. So they're all trying to look like inconspicuous, but there really isn't anyone around.
Yeah.
So, okay. So they tie their horses up and they go into town on foot. Rand leaves his saddlebags with the dragon banner on his horse.
Yeah.
But he,
like once they're in the town.
they're in the town.
Yeah.
But he didn't leave it in the village, not because he thought the soldiers would go through it, but because Varen might. And you can't trust those tricksy Aes Sedai.
Yeah, which is also kind of like, why not? Because Varen clearly knows everything.
Yeah, but
so
he doesn't think she knows about his banner.
Okay.
Yeah. Which she might not.
She might not. Yeah, that's true. But it's like he's being secretive about really weird things.
Yeah, he's Rand. He's
So,
Rand.
Yeah.
You just chalk it up to he's
doing his best.
He's trying. So Hurin has some trouble here in town because Fane has crisscrossed all over town and he can't really nail down a trail.
Yeah.
And so they see a Damane and a Suldam walking up the street. And I was...
Did you totally think just for a second that maybe it was like Nynaeve?
No.
And the Suldam?
I thought it was the Suldam and Damane that Nynaeve attacks.
Oh, so it's like just before?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So Nynaeve describes in her head, like really clearly, what these Suldam and Damane look like.
Yeah.
Down to like skin color, eye color, hair color. And with this, all we get is women.
Yeah.
Thanks for the descriptiveness, Rand. I was really hoping that we'd get some...
Just like a nugget.
Just a tiny yellow hair Suldam.
You know, and it's
it's
possible that these are them like just before.
I like to think that it is.
That's great.
Yeah. But anyways, Rand and Matt are like, oh, holy shit. Are those Damane?
Yeah. Like, yeah, man.
And Ingtar's like, bah, do we have to walk around this entire town?
Okay, again, Ingtar has had a progressively worse and worse time this entire journey. He's having a tough morning.
Yeah.
He wants to find the horn.
Yeah. So they round a corner and they see a big house guarded by Shan-Chen soldiers. And Rand also sees the Grom for the first time.
Boom.
Boom.
Holy smokes. What do you mean the first time?
I mean, for the
in
first
the
time
real
in this
world.
real world.
Yeah.
That the Shan-Chen have them here
and
in
his
this
brain
world.
is going crazy.
He goes, oh man, there's no way. This has to be a nightmare.
And Hurin is having just as bad of a time.
Oh, yeah. Well, because Matt sees them, he's like, what are those? And Hurin's like, Lord Rand? Are those, And
Pretty
Rand's
sure.
like, don't worry about it, man. Doesn't matter. And Hurin nods.
No time for that now.
Yeah. We'll worry about that later. Or never. So, Matt says that he can feel the dagger is in the house.
Nice, because this is totally Lord Turok's house.
Yes, it is. And Hurin says that he can smell Fane has been in there as recently as last night.
Nice.
And Ingtar is like, nope, we have to keep going. And Matt just has this like pleading look on his face. I know the dagger's in there. I need it. I need the dagger. And Rand sort of starts to reason with Ingtar and says, if the dagger's in there, the dagger and the horn will be together, and Fane will also be in there because he's not leaving the horn and the dagger.
Yeah. Which is kind of funny because turns out Fane leaves both of them for a long time.
Yep.
Like, even the dagger, he doesn't really go back for it, seems like.
Well, no, because he's probably been apprehended a couple of times.
He's been doing his thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ingtar is being a little bit stubborn on this.
Yeah. Rand tries to be logical and says, let's wait for him to come out. Then we can get back to Varen and make a plan. But Ingtar says, fuck your plans. I'm going in the back.
Yeah. We're doing this right now.
We're doing this right now.
This is like the whole situation where Rand was sneaking into the forest to the Trolloc camp to get the horn in the first place. You just like go and do it.
Yeah, just do it.
We're here. Do it now.
Do it now. So they all go to the back And Ingtar boosts himself up and over this wall, and he says he sees one man who isn't even wearing a helmet.
Yeah.
And he goes, wait here, count to 50, and then follow me. And then he goes over the wall.
Ingtar's kind of a badass.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
he definitely...
he's also unstable.
He is, like 100%.
He is really unstable right now.
He knows his abilities.
Yeah.
He can take on one guard. Easy.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Why not?
He could probably take on 10 more if they all show up. So.
Oh my god, 10 more.
Yeah.
Maybe 9. I don't know about 10, though.
Yeah. So they actually do it. They count to 50, and once they reach 50, they scramble over the wall after Ingtar. He is waiting for them against the house and says he killed the guard. The man was overconfident and didn't even raise a cry.
And that's the same thing you said about the White Cloaks. They're overconfident.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's it. And so his body is over there under those bushes.
Yeah.
And then we cue the spy movie sequence.
Yeah.
Because they head into the house and they like creep around to avoid being seen by the people inside.
Yeah, it seems more like luck than anything that they're like not seen by anyone, so...
Well, it's also like people who are going about their business don't know to be wary of like down that hallway.
Yeah, besides the fact like the entire like Shanshan, everything to do with them is like pay attention to your own stuff, don't interfere, don't look out for anybody else, just like keep your eyes down.
It is possible that like some servants like saw them and just don't say anything.
Yeah, they're like, not my place.
Yeah.
Don't want my hands chopped off.
Well, exactly.
So.
Yeah. And so they also see the serving girl who wears that sheer robe.
Yeah, the basically naked serving girl.
And Matt is like, oh man, you can totally see her boobies.
I love Ingtar. Keep focused, man.
Shut up. Remember why we're here.
Yeah.
Find the horn for me. And so they head to the room where the cabinet is, and then they see the horn and the dagger on the little table.
Yeah, and
Wasn't
this is
that
happening.
Literally months ago?
Yeah.
And it just sits there.
Well, talk about the strict rules of Turak. Like, who reasonably would break into Turak's house and steal the horn and dagger? Like, that is not happening.
Yep.
Crazy.
Except that it is.
Except it is happening right now.
Right now. Okay. So, Matt runs up, grabs them both, and cries, "We have them!
We did it!"
And Perrin's like, shut up, we don't have it yet. And Hurin heads over to the window and sees that the guards are still out front with the Grom. And Rand goes over to look, and across the street, there's this garden of a big house with women moving all about in there, always in twos, linked by a collar and a bracelet.
Yeah.
Then he sees and notices Egwene.
Oh my god.
Walking around with a collar on.
Yeah.
And their eyes meet, and he knows it's Egwene.
He knows, and she knows that she saw him and he saw her.
But it's like this weird situation where he's like, Egwene.
It's like, what are you doing here? And she's like, what are you doing here?
She's probably like, Rand, but no. And,
But
yeah,
you totally missed Ingtar's like one nice moment of he did it. When Matt grabs the horn and then Ingtar comes over and like touches the horn.
Oh yeah. Traces
and
his
says,
finger along
it
the
is,
script.
by the light it is, I'm saved.
I'm saved.
Yay.
Yeah.
Good job, Ingtar. Sort of Ingtar.
Yeah.
I mean, he kind of fought everyone the entire way, but...
It's okay. We got here. And so Matt says, what are you talking about? Egwene is safe in Tarvalin. And Rand says, no. She's over there and she's wearing a collar.
Yeah.
And Perrin says, are you sure? Like, I can't see her. And I got good eyesight.
Wolf eyes. Yeah.
And Rand says he's sure and he has to get her out. He has to rescue her.
Yeah.
Rand, there's a plan. Don't mess it up.
Unless he has to. He can't leave Egwene. Oh my goodness.
I hope he doesn't mess it up.
Okay.
Because at first when I read this, I was reading too fast.
Yeah.
Because everything was too exciting. And
makes sense.
Yeah. And I read it as he sees Egwene and Asuldam walking like down the street. Not just like milling around in the garden of a big house.
Okay.
Because the second time I read it, I really slowed down and understood where she is and what he's seeing. Because at first, I thought he was seeing like Nynaeve basically rescuing...
Oh,
or like,
okay. Yeah.
Or like Elaine somebody walking Egwene down the street.
Yeah.
Like potentially out of there, and I thought, oh, they did it, but we didn't see how they did it.
Yeah.
Like that's where my mind went.
Gotcha.
But then
doesn't seem that way.
It's not that way. She's still in the house.
Yeah, because like the Damani apartments and Turak's house are basically the
close
same.
together.
Yeah, or the side by side. So
yeah. Okay. So that got cleared up for me.
Yeah.
Because I went, oh man, she's out. And then Rand's gonna think he has to go save her, but she's like...
Already saved.
Already saved.
But
Anyway,
she's not.
She's
so,
not.
okay.
Not yet.
And
okay.
Q...
all the people. Okay, so
Yeah.
then a slurring voice behind them says, so, you are not who I expected.
Yeah.
It's Turek, and
Yeah.
he's there with like 4 or 5 soldiers crowding in the doorway. And one of the soldiers tells them who they are in the presence of.
Yeah.
And he's all pissed off because they don't know the bowing rules.
There's no bowing, no nothing so far.
No nothing.
Unshaven dogs.
Yeah, no kidding. Except that Huon's dead.
He got murdered by Fane.
He got murdered mysteriously.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because when we first saw that, Fane was like, you're going to die, and I know how you're going to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do it.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And Turek says when he found the guard dead outside, he suspected Fane because he's been suspicious of him since Huon died mysteriously.
Yeah.
So a servant takes Turek's robe off for him.
He's very fancy.
Yeah. And then he says he will kill a couple of them for disturbing his mourning. And then anyone who survives will just like tell him who they are and where they came from.
And let's talk about that overconfidence again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, if you are a Blademaster, maybe you actually can be confident.
Yeah, you are that good that you could probably kill those 5 guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So he doesn't want the horn damaged though.
Yeah.
So a soldier just like steps forward, and Rand wants to laugh because they all seem super oblivious to the fact that these men all have weapons.
Yeah, so what do you think this is just overconfidence happening here? Like,
Yes.
what is going on here?
So what happens is
Yeah.
the Shanshan show up, places, villages, whatever,
Yeah.
and
They dominate.
they dominate.
Yeah.
And then from now on, we've seen that they let their, quote, defeated people walk around the streets with their swords.
Yeah, that's true.
And we even saw that guard one time say, would you ever use that on me?
And they're like, nope, no, definitely
never,
not.
Never,
no way.
Never, no way.
Yeah.
So it's like, in their minds, there's no way that these men will raise their swords against them.
Yeah, that's true. So, yeah.
Overconfident.
Crazy.
Yeah. That's just what they know. It's all they know. So they assume the same thing.
Now let's talk about what happens next.
Yeah.
Because this little sequence is huge.
This is bad. So the guy steps forward, tries to take the horn from Matt, but then Matt just like slashes the guy's hand with his dagger.
Yes.
And he leaps back, surprised. Like, huh, you cut me.
What are you doing?
Yeah. And then he starts screaming. And his hand is like turning black. And there's this entire gross sequence of like his whole body turning black and swelling. And he's screaming and writhing in pain.
And everyone's just staring. This is the exact same thing that happens when I'm pretty sure it was at the Eye of the World when the Green Man like kills the Forsaken and everyone's just like watching it happen.
Yeah.
And then like snaps back and they're like, oh right,
shit.
we're in the middle of a battle here. So.
Yeah, except that no one seems to think they're in the middle of a battle yet.
Yeah.
At this point, because they just sort of like watch this happen. And I think that this is interesting that this dagger does that.
Well, remember when Fane and his group of dark friends were trailing through the wilderness,
Yeah.
and Fane said, the dark friends have seen what my dagger can do.
Yeah. Ooh, no, I don't remember that, actually.
Okay. So he said that the dark friends are going to be afraid and they won't touch the dagger because they've seen what the dagger can do.
Okay.
And we talked about that just a little bit,
Yeah.
but now we've seen what the dagger can do.
Okay, right. So now this guy is dead and like a bloated, gross black corpse.
Yeah.
And everyone was staring at this happen, including Turek. But then Ingtar says, see, we're no easy meat, and then runs forward to attack.
Nice.
And Huron and Matt and Perrin follow and fight the soldiers out of the room. And then Rand finds himself standing alone with Turek and 2 servants who are kneeling and watching.
Yeah.
And so Turek has his sword out, holding it up in front of Rand, and he says, you are young. Let's see what it takes to earn a heron on this side of the ocean.
Cool.
And then Rand sees the heron on the blade of Turek's sword.
Oh, dang.
Rand wants to seek the void, but he freaks himself out because he knows Saidin will be there. And he knows he won't be able to resist using it.
Yeah, and there definitely is this like level of respect between Turak, like with the whole Blademaster thing, because he's patiently waiting. He was like, I thought it would be
anyway. Like, he's a really patient, level guy.
He does seem that way, and he seems confident because he is a Blademaster. So he's like waiting for Rand to like prepare himself mentally and physically.
Yeah,
it's not going to get him by surprise.
No,
he's very like a samurai in this fight scene.
A little bit. Yep.
I just think Samurai Jack with like the he's not where he's like silent feet basically, like the running style. It just always makes me think of that. No, I don't know what
you're talking about, but that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Moving on. So Rand remembers what Varen said and like warned him against channeling. So he's gonna try to do this fight without the void.
Yeah.
So Turk moves towards him and they start fighting. So Turk tests him a little and then starts pushing harder and like slashes Rand like under his eye and then again like under his arm, and then he steps back disgusted and disappointed.
Yeah, he was hoping for a good fight here.
And says, "Where did you find that sword, boy? Or do they truly award a heron to someone as unskilled as you?" And he goes, "No matter. It's time to die."
Ah, okay.
And then I'm like, come on, Rand.
You gotta do this, man.
Come on, man. You can do it.
This is not the place.
And so the void envelops Rand, and he manages to avoid Saidin.
Yeah. So that's good. He can like have the void but not channel,
So he is one with the sword and one with Turek, and he recognizes some of the forms that Turek is using, and Turek's disappointment and disgust turns to surprise and then concentration, and they keep fighting, and Rand presses harder. And Rand thinks about how he's like barely holding his own and how this has to end now, and he can't use Saidin, and he can't do the whole sheath the sword in himself.
I was going to ask.
Thing.
So it's kind of funny because at the beginning of these chapters, we got where Ingtar's making fun of Rand for like his funny stances, where it's like, oh, if you do that, you know, you can kill the guy, but he's going to stab you first. Did you like ever do the thing where you like thought that was going to be what he does, is like some funny form on his heel, on his like
I actually did
ball
not.
of his
No.
foot, so okay.
No, because I do this thing where I don't really even read the names of the forms.
Okay.
I just get to the stuff that's, you know, the actual fighting.
Okay. No, that's fair.
So I didn't even think
it's just funny because
that.
I like plugged it in the beginning of these chapters, and it's like we're in a fight sequence. So.
Yeah, no, I didn't. But I did want Ingtar to be here to watch this. To like rub it in Ingtar's face that like I do know how to fight and I don't need your dumb advice.
See?
Yeah. But anyways, Rand thinks about how he has to be able to help Egwene, and so he can't lose this. So Rand presses, drops to one knee, and does some form where he slashes across Turek's body, and he kills Turek, and then he's like, oh shit, I just killed a man.
Crazy. So Rand just took down a Blademaster.
Yeah.
Rand's getting pretty good, apparently.
Yeah, well, then the void shakes, and Saidin tries to take over, but he claws free.
And you probably wanted him to channel or something.
No, not here.
Okay.
Not here. No. I would be worried if he did that here.
You're like on team like Rand channel, so.
I am, but only when it's necessary.
Okay.
Only when it's like something that could really help.
Okay.
And he didn't need it to help him here.
That's fair.
And Rand then sees the two servants still kneeling by the doorway that he'd sort of forgotten about. And he doesn't really know what to do about them, and is confused why they didn't go to get help.
Yeah.
Or even shout for help.
Like no one's doing anything.
Yeah, and instead they just take out their daggers and kill themselves. And Rand thinks this is crazy.
Like, I'm gonna go crazy.
But they're already crazy. Yeah.
And that's the whole human sacrifice. Like, from birth to death, I serve the blood.
Yes. And so Ingtar and the others run back in, and their weapons are all red with blood, and Ingtar says that the fools never even cried for help.
Yeah, they're all crazy.
Yeah, overconfident, and then also no one interferes with the things that are happening at a different level than them.
Yeah, like you really keep out of it because you don't know why, and it's not worth it to get involved.
Yes. Yeah. And even if they had called for help, who would help them? The servants?
Well, the guards outside with the Grom, probably.
Oh yeah, probably
like
them.
literally just outside.
Yeah, like if one of them like ran away and was like, guys,
there's some guys who broke in here.
But no, they're all too overconfident and thought they could just take them all.
Yeah.
Even with Turk, who was like, I'll kill some of you and leave some of you alive to talk to.
Yeah, and I'll question the rest.
He thought he'd be able to just go all himself.
Yep.
And even that, like, he couldn't even take Rand.
Yeah. So, all right.
So Matt says that these people are crazy. The servants just sank to their knees and covered their heads with their arms and sat there. And they're probably still sitting there like that now.
Spoiler alert, they are.
They are. And Ingtar says, we gotta go. And Rand says, you guys leave. I have to go get a Gwaine.
Oh man, 4 will come back.
Oh, no. So Hurin says he sees some of the guards outside starting to come in.
Yeah.
And so they all run. And Rand hesitates, but Perrin says, you can't save the girl if you stand here and die.
And he's not wrong.
So Rand...
That was Nynaeve's advice too.
Yeah, that is not bad advice.
Yeah.
So he runs too and thinks about how he will come back to save her. And they run out the back, and Matt keeps dropping the horn.
Well, he like throws it over the wall first and like jumps over
like,
it.
Ha! There's no scratches.
And Ingtar's like, don't break it. Like maybe this thing is indestructible, maybe it's not.
Maybe it's not. Yeah, I know, Matt. Oh my god. I just love him. I think he's so funny.
Yeah. That's
Even
pretty
in this
great.
state, I don't know, but I hope he just manages to hold on to that dagger and he can actually get healed at this point.
Right? They're not out of dodge yet.
No. So they hear shouts from behind and then like a gong tolling and then they run back down the alley and Rand thinks about how he will come back to save her somehow.
So here's a question for you.
Yeah.
That gong that sounded, is that for their shenanigans?
No, it's for Turk's dead. It's kind of like, I thought of it as like, you know, when the Pope dies and they ring the bell at the Vatican.
Who knows that Turk is dead?
Well, the guards were coming inside. The guards that are coming in?
Okay. I was going to say, is it that? Because we also know that the girls are up to no good right now, too. Like, just about the same time.
Yeah.
So.
No, they're up to good.
Up to no good to the Shanshan who would be gonging the gongs.
No. Yeah.
So,
okay.
You know what I mean.
Yeah. Can I tell you the thing I'm most upset about right now?
Yeah, sure.
They left 2 seals of the Dark One's prison.
Yeah.
In that room.
In the fancy cupboard.
They didn't even see it.
They didn't see it.
They didn't see
Didn't know it's there.
They didn't even see it. And then they were right there.
Yep.
And they didn't see it.
Shoot.
And there was...
That sucks.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yep.
Okay, that's all. That's what I'm upset about.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Okay. Well, and Turk's dead now, and he was like the High Lord Turk, so...
He was the High Lord here. Even that, like, Suroth, who seemed like a pretty high lady,
is like not even...
to Turk.
Yeah.
He seemed to be, like, the highest Lord here.
Yeah.
Out of the Shanshans, and now he's dead.
So, like, what happens now?
What happens now? Probably some chaos.
Probably some chaos, okay.
Yeah, probably some fun.
Now, how do they get out? Because now we got the girls. Possibly, if they can break Egwene free, they get to the boat with Daman, and then we got...
Are Matt and Rand gonna have a reuniting with Daman?
Oh, that'd be fun. That'd be good if they like see each other or like get on the boat together.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Okay.
I don't know, but I sure do want to keep reading. We have 5 chapters left.
Oh, I know. And if you like these 2 chapters, the next chapters, you're gonna love them.
Dude, that's the new tagline.
There you go.
I say I want to read, and you say...
You're gonna love it.
The next chapters are good.
Yeah. Well, okay, I'm just telling the truth.
I know. So. I'm really excited to see that action is ramping up in favor of our heroes.
That's fair.
For the most part, it seems they got the horn, they got the dagger. That's the part I honestly was like most concerned about. This is what this whole freaking book has been about.
Yeah, it's called The Great Hunt.
Yeah.
Like to get the horn. This is the important part. So.
Yeah. And the dagger for Matt.
So he doesn't die.
And
also, we don't want Egwene to be a slave forever.
We don't want that either.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and say that this is part of the pattern now.
Yeah, it's part of the pattern.
Thank you for listening to this episode. The Wheel Weaves is hosted by Dani and Brett, edited by Dani, produced by Dani and Brett with Derek Benton, Benjamin, Kyle Smith, Passion Socks, Moltude, and Mozyme. Music by Audionautics.com. If you'd like bonus content, like bonus episodes, outtakes, Q&As, more fun Wheel of Time talk, early access, cool stickers and keychains, and also to support us making great content, visit us at patreon.com/thewheelweavespodcast. Don't forget to check us out on Instagram and Twitter at The Wheel Weaves Podcast. We love interacting with our listeners. Plus, don't forget to rate, subscribe, and tell a friend about us because referrals really are the best compliment. We'd really love for you to come over and join our Discord channel for some spoiler or spoiler-free discussions. You can find the links at our Twitter page as well as on our Patreon page. Thanks again for tuning in because this really is part of the pattern now.